I feel like I'm putting on a show here. No. No, it's good. Okay, so I'll just start with that. So thanks for joining me on the Eddie Conversation podcast here. You are Tori Oliphant.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would introduce you as I usually like to have people introduce themselves. How do you introduce yourself to people?
Like what would I consider myself?
Yeah, like when you meet somebody for the first time?
Yeah, I guess I don't like to go by just like musician. Like I don't really consider myself a musician, more of like an artist, I guess, because I do dabble in, I put my finger in every pie as far as like the arts go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but music is my passion right now. It's what I'm like focusing on right now, but who knows where I'll be in the future.
Okay, so artist, are you okay, so talk to us about the things you dabble in. So can you lay that out?
Yeah. So other than music and like music production and stuff, like before that, like when I was a kid, I wanted to just be like a regular like paper artist because I really enjoyed drawing and shit. Mm-hmm. So like before I really knew what my passion or what I wanted to do with my life, I just wanted to like make paintings and stuff. But then like once I realized that that's not like the most viable career, you know, as far as like I don't want to be on the street like buy my paintings.
Yeah.
So I gave up on that as far as like trying to make it like my whole like identity in like life. And then after just like that, I chose fashion, and I was like, I'm gonna do fashion design. I did like classes. I learned how to sew. I like made garments, and I would do like fashion sketches and stuff. And then I was like, I can't afford to go to fashion school, so I can't really do this either. So I gave up on that, and then that's when I joined a band and started doing like singing and stuff.
Okay, so now that you're doing singing and stuff, I want to talk about that first initially, because I mean that's primarily how I guess like I see you as
that's how I've like made my name.
Yeah, you all right, so can you lay out the track as far as your music life?
Like and, where it started?
Yeah, so you've mentioned that you're in a band and now you're kind of doing your solo thing. So
what's that about?
Let's hear it.
That's a whole story. I can get into this. So I guess like my own personal journey with music started with my parents, because they met in a band, and like when they were in high school together and they started a band together and like they got married, and like it was just like a really big part of their adult young life. And they would always tell me stories about shows and just like being musicians, and I always thought they were so cool. Like I would just like look up to them like so hard. And so not only did they give me like kind of like that inside, like, you know, I kind of had an understanding of musicians, but they had like a bunch of equipment, like all the equipment that's just lying around in here, all the equipment that I ended up using that I use now, they just like have. So I'd say like that gave me a super good foundation because they kind of just like provided that. So from there, from like knowing that I have like, you know, a bunch of equipment at my house, I kind of like wanted to start a band. I was like, I feel like I have the opportunity. Like, I know my parents would be cool with it. If we practice in the garage, they would love it. So in high school, I just sort of like asked my friends, I was like, should we like start a band? Like, I wasn't really serious about music at that point. I didn't really consider myself like a singer at all. Like, I had auditioned for like musicals and stuff and just like bombed.
I feel like sorry to cut you off. I feel like that always comes up in high school though. I feel like I had like tons of friends that would be like talking about doing it and never ended up getting done because it takes so much organization to put together a band and actually create something together. But I feel like I knew that. Like people are pretty, like they'll say they want to do something, but they won't actually put time and effort into it. I would say I'm the exact opposite. So I kind of just like gathered a bunch of people and was like, we're making a band. But I also like don't like I am a fan of collaboration. Like I really enjoy working with other people. So I just felt like it was a really good way for me to start as far as like getting comfortable with music, because
I really wasn't comfortable, like, as far as, like, my own confidence as, like, being an artist, and, like, I didn't have, like, an identity, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to figure all that out, but I guess having other people who are vulnerable with you on stage or practicing or whatever, it made it a lot easier for me. I would say I wouldn't have started by myself if it wasn't. Like, you know, I think I needed those people to help me too.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, getting those jitters out with your friends versus all alone.
People who might judge you.
It takes the pressure off for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And then actually for those that are watching the podcast too, you did mention the space. We are shooting.
Yeah, this is my garage. She's very precious to me. I consider her a community center, an art center. She hosts everything from shoots to shows to parties. I've had parties in here, movie nights. I love this space.
There's a lot of history here.
Yes, there's history here.
Yeah. No, it's good. You have the space utilizing it. That's awesome. But that's where we are right now, which is exciting for, I guess, for me, right? Experiencing
This is like a total tangent, but do you know about the history of this house?
No. No. I don't. It's my first time here.
It's chilling. It's a chilling story. I feel like because it's Halloween, like, this is a good story.
Sure. Let's hear it.
So, I didn't know this, but before we moved in, like years ago, there were some people who lived here, and they moved out, and they left the house, like, empty and vacant. It was, like,
do you have a year? What year?
That was, like, 2000, I would say it was left vacant around 2007.
Okay.
And then from, like, 2007 to 2010, it was inhabited by, like, squatters. So a bunch of squatters lived here, and, like, they would, you know, they just didn't have homes, so they lived here because it was an empty house. And legend has it, Chatsworth legend, one of the squatters, like, got mad at the other squatters living there. He wanted the space to himself. Maybe he was just crazy. I don't know. Yeah. He killed all of them in here, chopped them into little pieces, put them in the trash can, and then burned the whole place down.
And that's a rumor.
No, it's true. It's in the news if you look up my address and my house.
Okay.
So this is a murder house.
Okay.
We're on bones and dead people.
Sure. I feel like, okay, for me, I'm not really sure what to do with that information, but I'm sure most plots of land
have had, like, a person die.
Have bones there,
but
that's
it's, like,
pretty
so recent.
That's interesting.
It's, like, a little scary. My parents didn't tell me until, like, 5 years after.
So I guess. Is there a continuation to that story, or they're like?
I mean, the guy got arrested.
I mean, as far as, like, spirits or weird
different,
stuff
like,
that's happened, is that a thing?
There is, like, a haunted hallway. There's, like, a hallway in this house that I can't stand in at night, because if I, like, stand there at night, like, I literally will, like start just, like, freaking out. It's, like, it's such a weird feeling. It just feels like the walls are closing in on you. It feels like there's someone there. And I did, like, this Snapchat filter. No, it's not Snapchat. It's a TikTok filter.
Okay.
Do you use TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
I have yet to join TikTok.
It's the new thing. You know, it's the new thing. I don't know.
I feel like I'm getting pitched TikTok with every guest that I have on here. But
you need to get a TikTok.
So you created I don't even know. Okay.
There was a TikTok filter that, like, sees if there's like ghosts around, or it, like, picks up, like, objects that are around. And I was just, like, showing it in the hallway, and there was, like, this huge, like, orb. Like, just an orb. And I was like, what is happening? There's ghosts.
Confirmed by TikTok.
Confirmed by TikTok,
Copy that. Okay. All right. So as far as your music goes.
Oh, yeah. That was the tangent. What were we talking about? The garage.
So, I guess to come back to where you are now really quick. And because the songs that you have up that you promote through Instagram and stuff were released
last year.
Like, the YouTubes say, like, 8 months ago.
Oh, yeah, no, like, the beginning. Like, yeah, I worked on it all last year, and then it came out the beginning of this year.
Did you... All right, so I want to hear about that process specifically, and then, I guess, jumping right into what you're doing now since then.
Right, okay. I mean, do you want me to talk about my first band? Because that's kind of where I stopped. We can get back to it. We can get back to it? Yeah. All right, I'll talk about me right now because that's way more interesting. Yeah. No, yeah. So last year, I decided to do my solo stuff, and I really didn't have... I didn't have any knowledge of production or how to start. I simply was like a performer, and I would sing with my band. That was like all that I was really known for. So I was like, I want to write songs just by myself. And I had already done that, on like piano or ukulele, but it just wasn't like, I really like, music that you can dance to, music that's like more like, has like current sounds, more like modern sounding. I wanted to make music that I haven't heard before, basically. And so I started writing music on my iPhone, actually. The Mon Cherie song that is like the most known right now was written completely on my phone. It wasn't produced on my phone, but I wrote all the parts on my phone, and some of the parts that are in the song are still from my phone.
So when you say wrote, because I'm not familiar too much with music production or that. So when I think of writing, I think of like lyrics and that sort of writing, like the actual like words, but the writing you're referencing is not that.
Like I literally produced it. Like I had the vocals, I had a bass line, I had drums, I had had all the sounds that I wanted. I had the sound that I wanted. As far as like the full instrumentation, I made on my phone through the GarageBand app, which I think is on most iPhones. It's really easy to use. I feel like more people should use it.
Yeah. Okay. So you did it. Yeah. So you just utilized what you had.
Yeah, because that's all I had at that point.
Started it. Okay.
Yeah, and I wrote that whole song, and then Saturday I also, all three of those I wrote on my phone actually, and then from there, from having like the completely done song, I went to the same producer that produced my last band, and I asked him to help me bring these to life, basically bring them to be full listenable songs that aren't just because the thing about writing something on iPhone is it's low quality, it doesn't match up to how songs sound.
It's a good starting point, I guess.
But you can't release it like that. I would never. I mean, I would maybe release it if the fans wanted it, but I don't think they do.
Okay, so you reached out to get that quality up in some capacity, all right, and we worked on the songs together. He was really passionate about the songs. He liked them a lot, and he saw we both had a similar vision for the songs. So I decided to work with him, and it took a while to do all three songs. It took most of the year, but it was because I would have to go to his studio and work with him, and I couldn't work on it at home really. It was on his setup, and so with those two songs we have combined credits because he did produce. On which two?
On all three, on Burn, Saturday, and Mon Cherie. Jackson Rao was my producer on those. So he mixed them, and then we got them mastered, and then I did a little bit, I wasn't ready to release them because I wanted to do I wanted to get more notoriety, and that's when I did the YouTube video. I don't know if you saw it, Jubilee. It's a Jubilee video. It's really stupid.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's Jubilee's this big. It's cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm familiar with what that is, but yeah.
Yeah, they have different videos, but they had one that was one guy speed dates 12 musicians, and then I was one of the girls that was in that video. And I actually made it, for some reason, to the top 3. I think it was just because I was kind of funny. Not very funny. They edited me really shady in that video. But that video, even though I wasn't the most well received, I did get a lot of criticism, but I was okay with it.
Well,
I
feel like those Jubilee videos the only point is to criticize the people that are
they just
on that show.
You.
So that's. But how did that come about? Because I've seen those now. The more you talk about it, I'm obviously I've seen those before.
Oh yeah.
But how does that work?
Yeah, they actually do casting in LA. So I signed up for their casting.
Because they were specifically looking for musicians for that one.
For that, yeah. So for every video, they have a specific call for a specific type of person. Sometimes it's like really weird, like Latinx blank individual. Like they'll make it really specific, like down to the race. But with that one, it was just like all musicians. And I was like, okay, well, I can obviously submit to this one. So yeah, I had to send in like a song and a little video of myself and like write a little bio. And I was really excited when they said I would. Yeah, I was so excited. Yeah.
What kind of criticism did you get?
Oh God. Well, okay.
if I think it's kind of, I think it's interesting.
I'm fine with talking about it because
or at least like the funny stuff, like the funny. I don't know. I feel like the criticism, to me, I guess the hope would be that you can spin it in like
a positive way. No, I like all criticism because it's like you can always get better from there. You know, it's like they give you a bar and then you have to raise their bar and like show them that you're better. And I like proving to people that I can do more than they think I can do.
Yeah.
But on the actual video, my performance was questionable.
Oh, so you had to perform in the video?
Yeah, you had to sing or like do your talent.
Like just on the spot. Okay.
Yeah, like it was just like a hanging mic, and they had my song playing on like a really, really shit like speaker.
Yeah.
And just like that was it. That was all I had to work with. Like that's not how like I like you know, making sure the sound is nice. Like I wish they had edited in the song into the video because the thing that I was the most proud of showing was that I had written an original song, because like a lot of those girls did covers. Some of those girls had original songs and they were really good, and those were the ones that I think ended up like winning and like getting in the top. They were all really talented because they had like original stuff that they had brought, and I just wish I could have made it sound like how I know it could have, because it was literally just like, you have one opportunity, it's playing on a speaker, you have like a crappy mic hanging, like it wasn't a bad mic, but it, like, you know, it's just like a mic, like no effects or anything. And it was, people said stuff like, people compared me to Clairo, which I don't mind. Clairo's okay. I like Clairo.
I'm not familiar with Clairo.
Clairo, like, she's like kind of popular right now. She has like a new song that's really popular, but she's like an indie. Yeah. She also like written songs on her iPhone. Like she's like kind of similar to me, I would say. But she is an industry plant. That is the difference. Yeah. So people compared me to Clairo. People like just like said I was bad, which is fine. Like you can think I'm bad.
So they're just being mean.
Yeah, but people thought I was funny. Some people thought I was like too much, like annoying, which I think I was. I was like going a little overboard.
You were going for it.
But I think that's why it worked for me, because if I hadn't made like an impression, then he wouldn't have kept me that long, because my like sound wasn't as good as some of those other girls as far as I'm concerned. So, but yeah, honestly, it wasn't that many. Like, if I really looked through all the comments, I'm sure I'd find a lot. But I don't look through them that much.
Yeah, no, I think it's healthy not to. Yeah. But, okay, so you did that kind of, that was an opportunity that came up that could help benefit.
Yeah, I did that before I had released the songs, and I wanted it to be sort of like getting my name out there. Yeah. And I did perform the songs that I was going to release. And so then people after that were like, where are the songs? And I guess I wish I had capitalized on that, because right after that video came out, like I had a lot of traffic to my page, because they like tag your Instagram and stuff. And so I wish I had those songs like right there to drop. But they ended up not coming out. If that video came out around like November, the songs didn't come out until like March, February. So I
see. Yeah, it's shucks.
I feel like people would comment every day like, where are they? Like, girl, like what's taking so long? But it honestly wasn't me. It was my producer. He just took a very long time.
That stuff takes time. Yeah. And I'm glad at least that sounds like a good experience overall.
It was, yeah.
All right. I guess I'm curious about the songs themselves, on being that there were only three to go with. How did you what was that like? Did you kind of write a bunch of them and then narrow down to your top three, and then like what was your
so I wanted to do, like, I didn't want to just drop like an EP like with a bunch of songs, because I wanted to show people like because the songs are very different. All 3 songs are very different, and I felt like they didn't go together. And I had written a lot of songs, and those were just obviously the 3 that I wanted to do. Like, it kind of just, they jumped out at me. It wasn't like I had to narrow anything down. It was more like, okay, well, this one's good, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so, but I guess my vision for it, as far as like it being 3 singles and not like together, I wanted them to all be like similar. That's why they have like similar images, but I wanted them to be distinct from each other, to show people that I have kind of like, I can do
like a range.
Yeah, I do this kind of song, but I can also do this kind of song, just to gauge like what people like and what people want me to do. And they obviously liked Montreal the best out of the 3, so it like gives me an idea of like, oh, I should like make more songs that like are similar to that.
And is that how you decided to go the video route on that one?
Yeah, yeah, that one was just like from the beginning, the most like people were like, oh, what is this song? Like people were just interested in that song. So, and I wanted to do a music video for Saturday. I really wanted to do one. But our idea was just too big. Like, we just don't have the budget for what we wanted to do.
What was the idea?
We wanted to do, like, huge, like 80 group of, like, 80 people, like, running down a beach, like, balloons, like, being released into the air, like, drone footage, like, you know, like Michael Bay, like, I don't know. Like, just really extra and over the top. Yeah, like, campy a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that does, yeah. I mean, the one that you did end up making... It's definitely the more producible one, which makes sense.
Yeah, because that song's a little bit more like minimalist, and it, like my ideas for how we could do that video were like tangible. Like we could do that, you know. So yeah, that ended up and people liked it, so that was also like mostly the determining factor.
Yeah. Can you talk about the writing of the actual lyrics for each of them and what the inspirations were? And
I'll start with Burn, because I think I wrote that one first. That one was about like I had been coming out of like a bad relationship, I guess, and that song was about being with someone who is okay with watching you in pain. And like that's why the song's like, you know, you'll watch me burn, and like even though like you might have this like idea of this like perfect relationship with someone, like if they don't care about whether or not they're hurting you, then that's like a very toxic thing. And so that song, there's like kind of like some anger, kind of like some passion in it. And the lyrics are about like just like what I had been through around that time and what I was feeling, I guess. But yeah, I like that song. That one's my favorite out of the 3, actually. Yeah.
Still, I mean, yeah. After all this time, that's when you kind of
I'm surprised it's the one with like that's like the least amount of listens, because I personally like if I had found those songs, that's like the only one I would have like I feel like I would have personally liked. I try to place myself in like a third point perspective always. It's really hard though, because I'm obviously biased.
You're a little close to the material.
I probably should be the ones
but I feel it. Okay.
And then with Saturday, that one was kind of the opposite of that. It was like coming out of that and like being free, being happy, having like ideas for like a really happy future. That one's just like a positive. I wanted to write like a positive song, because personally, I don't like art that brings negativity into the world. Like, I don't really like that whole, like, diva aesthetic of, like, oh, like, you know, I'm famous, but, like, I hate my life, and, like, I'm sad. If I ever had any kind of platform, I would only want to spread positivity. So that's, like, kind of the theme of that song.
Yeah, you were aiming for the positive jam to make people happy. Yeah,
because that's how I want my career to go, like, from here on. Like I don't like, I mean, things can be like sad. I think things can be sad, but if you're gonna make something sad, you should at least put hope in it. And so I feel like even the sad songs I've written, which I haven't released any of them, but they all have like hope at some point, because I don't think it's fair to like give people art that will leave them feeling like empty. I personally, when I consume art that way, I feel worse. You know? I mean, sometimes it makes you introspect and like, but I don't know, I guess it depends.
Yeah, it kind of sends you down a negative spiral almost for no reason, and you're just left there. You're like, taking people to that spot doesn't sound, like you're saying, like the thing you want to be doing, which makes sense because I that's kind of how I feel I would lean too. But
just like being because I'm an optimist, so I don't understand people who can just like pick out the bad in every situation, because I feel like I always try to like, like glaze
spin it positively and glass half full kind of thing. And then we have Monshuri.
Yeah, that one I wrote like in the summer. I was dating around, and I don't know. It's about just like the beginning of a relationship, and like that first feeling you get with someone, like that first like wave of like, whoa, like I like this person. It's kind of just about that, and I've experienced that like a lot of times in my life. So I would say some of my songs aren't directly about like a person. They're more about like my mental space at that time, based on like.
Yeah, it's about the feeling versus the other person. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. All right. So I guess I was curious to hear more about, because I'm as a filmmaker myself, having produced a lot of like zero budget stuff and like putting stuff together and just making stuff regardless. Like I was a big fan of watching your behind the scenes video.
I love that video.
And it looked crazy to me, but which I think is cool. And watching the video, I think plays awesome. And I think it, like I've kind of avoided making music videos myself because it's just, I don't grab onto it very easily. Like it's a different medium than the narrative filmmaking.
Like film,
So I personally stay away from it, but watching your piece and then seeing how it was made and stuff, I thought it was super awesome. So I was curious to hear more about what wasn't in the behind the scenes video or like prepping for it and like all that kind of stuff.
That whole video was a complete and utter chaotic mess. I mean, it came out like exactly how I wanted, but how it got there was I don't know. It was like a train off the rails, literally.
So I guess for a little bit of context, it was shot in one night. It was shot over 2 days. 2 days. Yeah. Okay.
But it took about 2 to 3 months of preparation. As far as like, it started with the idea. And then it went from the idea to like a written out idea and like, plot, storyboard. From there, we were like, we don't have any of these things in the storyboard. We need to make them. We need to make this happen. We need to make this come to life. This is actually a prop from Jubilee.
These pink flowers.
These pink flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, see this pot is from IKEA. Oh, God. And we just put those in. We went to IKEA. We got so much stuff. We ended up returning a lot of it because we're broke.
Right. Well, that's the classic
The budget
way to do
was
it.
$500. I think we spent like $200. We went completely under budget because at the time, like we said, we have $500, but like we did not have that kind of money. So we were like, we can't, we got to do everything as cheaply as possible. And that, like you saw in the video, we stole sand from a park.
Oh, right.
Like we just did some desperate things that I do not wish to do again. But for a first music video, it was good.
Yeah,
we got our hands dirty.
You got it done. So literally dirty.
Literally.
I was trying to imagine the scene because there's no post-rap scene of like of whatever. But I was like, did they take the sand back and just dump it back in the nighttime too? Or
the sand is actually dumped like 10 feet away from my house. It's like over there. Right. Yeah, we just dumped it in the field next door. I hope nobody sees that.
Okay. All right. So $200.
Yeah.
Music video, getting it done. Because a lot of it is almost like arts and craftsy kind of stuff, like construction paper, trees and oranges and rose petals and all that kind of stuff. So
we had to make all that stuff by hand. And as far as like the crew and like there were so many people like there shooting, and like how we got Cameron, that like TikTok star, to come and be in the video. I have no idea personally. But it was honestly just like, I felt really blessed as far as like every time I asked someone for help with the video, they were like, yeah, I'm down. I'm in, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a really crazy day. Like, it felt magical, but not in really a good way. Like, but that whole, yeah. And then the editing process was really stressful as well.
Well, actually, before we get to that, you did mention you didn't know how you got Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you get Cameron?
So I was going through TikTok, and I saw his page, and I had been looking for someone to cast in the video. I had someone in mind, but they lived like far, and we would have had to get them out here, and it just would have been, it was like a friend of mine. And so I had in the back of my mind that I needed to find somebody, and I saw a TikTok, and I saw that he lived in LA from his TikTok. He like posts videos in LA and stuff. And so I was like, okay, this kid lives in LA. He's like on the come up. He probably just moved here. And I was right. He had just moved here from somewhere in the South. I don't want to say where because I'm probably wrong. Sure. And he's like making his name for himself out here, and it's really cool to see. Like, you know, he just like came from the South and came here and is just killing the game.
Came from the South. He's
just slaying us. He's just stepping on us.
Sure. But, so you just straight up just asked.
I literally just asked him. I literally found his Instagram and was like, hey, I'm in LA. Me and my friends are making a music video. It's like really low budget. Like, I told him like it wasn't gonna be like a high production thing. I thought he wouldn't want to come because of that, but he was actually super like down, like so down to earth. Like, when he came here, he was like, I love how you guys are just making this work. Like, because we were making it work. Like, he was probably used to, you know, big shoots. He does a lot of like fashion modeling. But he still was so like chill with just like being here. And yeah, he was super cool to work with. I was really surprised that, like, I asked him and he was like, yeah, down. Like, he literally, like, he never said anything that I could even, like, say was, like, negative. Like, he was just a very positive person. It was just really down to work in whatever way possible.
And really so, quick, too, I think one of your mics flipped in. Yeah, there you go. I'm not surprised that it worked out.
Yeah.
Like, I am a big advocator of just reaching out to people and being genuine and authentic about what the scenario is and not overselling. Yeah. Like, this is going to be the biggest thing in the world. And millions of people are going to see it. You're going to get famous off it. Like, whatever the stuff is. Like, just saying what it is, I feel is... Because people more often than not are just flattered that you'd consider them in the first place. Yeah. So... when you say you don't know how you did it, I'm like, well, I know how you did it.
Yeah, but he had seemed like successful enough on his own that he wouldn't need that. But I think I had got him at a perfect time where like his TikTok was like just starting to gain speed, his Instagram, and he's definitely a lot more popular now. Like, I feel like if I was making the video now and I messaged him, it's not that he would say no, but maybe he wouldn't even see my message, you know? So, but I am really happy about how everything worked out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what about the director and stuff? How did that? Because that's always the weird thing for me too, is let's say me as a director trying to work with an artist. It's a weird relationship because it's your material, it's your song, but you're asking me to be a director, and directors usually provide their own vision on top of it. So it's like a weird who's in control and who's...
It was kind of a struggle. I'm just gonna say that it was a struggle because I would say we were putting in, you know, I didn't want anyone who was coming to help to have to do like little like tedious work as far as like, you know, making the props. Like, we did all that. We paid for everything. We produced it. Like, it was our money. It was in our space. Like, so things like that. Like, I did personally, even though we did have a director, I felt sort of like I knew, like, because it was kind of a controlled environment as far as like I invited who I wanted to come, and so I did feel like a producer, and I felt like I could easily like tell him what I wanted, or at least that's what I thought. But that is not what ended up happening. Yeah, there was a lot of like, you know, like, no, I want to do this, and yeah, it ended kind of weird, but you know, the video's out, so.
So it was kind of like a, just some back and forth on trying to
Yeah.
fight through some decisions and stuff.
Yeah, I would say mostly with editing.
Okay, in the edit.
In the edit, because there were a lot of shots that either didn't get put in the final, or like we just didn't get like that we had set up for and like done, but that just weren't filmed. And so we had come across a lot of like, we had a storyboard, but we ended up having to like not use it because we had missed so many of the shots, and like not missed so many of the shots, we had a lot of them, but some of them were unusable for different reasons, like lighting problems, or there was just like a lot of like roadblocks, I would say, and I think that stressed everybody out. And then I feel like probably having me like breathe down their neck like wasn't the best for the situation.
Yeah. So what, let's say, okay, as you mentioned kind of prepping for another video coming up, what things are you doing differently this time around to, now that you have that experience, what's different?
I mean, because of quarantine, but also because of that last video, I'm keeping things very small, like crew small, people who are working on it. Like, it's really just me and my two best friends that are doing it. And before, like, we had a lot of people doing different things. And I would say, like, that contributed to the chaos as far as, like, I don't know. There was just, like, too much going on. And so we want to keep it cleaner this time. Like, even if we have to put more work on ourselves, like, we at least know we can fight with each other. We can, like, debate about it, and like our friendship is still gonna be there, versus like sometimes when you work with people in LA, like you can like literally like not talk to somebody after a creative project if it doesn't go the way they like, you know. But I like working with people that I trust, because I know like even if this video doesn't turn out perfect, they're not gonna like resent me for it, you know. Like, we all did it together and it came out the way it came out, you know.
Yeah.
But some people, I would say, are very like, I don't know, they want to I'm the same way. I want to have control over the things that I create, and I understand like when you collaborate with people, they also want control of what they create. So it's like it's always going to be a pulling of like.
So I guess that's my experience in a way. I guess the way that I see it is similar, and yet I feel like, okay, when I produce my short films and stuff in LA, it's normally, there's like pre-conversations about why I'm bringing you on, and whose vision it is, and what the plan is with the edit. Like, a lot of the conversations happen up front to help smooth out those later things that come out. So I guess I might be a little bit more, I guess you've mentioned being optimistic. I almost think that I might be a little bit more optimistic in terms of the collaboration process with all that. Like, it's the same thing when you ask Cameron to come out. It's like, this is the deal, and this is whatever. This is my music, and I really appreciate your vision, and this is kind of where it goes. I feel like there is potential definitely for doing that again in the future. But I do like the idea of trying the complete opposite version. It's like, all right, sweet, I brought a lot of people in that first time. This time, no people, and we'll see what the difference is, and then learn from that, and then kind of maybe do a mixture on the next one or whatever. But that's
I feel like if the world was in a little bit of a different place, like my personal mindset would be different. But I'm like so isolated now. Like, my social network has like diminished so much, as far as like even people that I would reach out to before, I feel weird reaching out to them, because it's like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a super long time. I haven't even asked them how they're doing. Like, they probably think I don't like them. Like, you know, I get like kind of like an anxiety about that, and I don't want people to think I'm using them only for their skills, because every person that I ask help from, it's because I appreciate like who they are as a human, and I appreciate their skills, and I think they're like a good worker, and like all those things. Like, I would only ask someone for help if I valued them as a person. And so it's hard, because I want to meet new people to work with and things like that. But it's like, where am I gonna go? You know, I can't like go to parties or I guess, yeah, parties and stuff are how I used to, like, network and things. And shows definitely. Like, without shows, my life is, like, so different.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
The lack of shows in the world right now.
Yeah, because I guess like I think about networking a lot. Like that's kind of how we connected, was just like Instagram. So I feel like, I mean, that's kind of the only option these days. Really, is some sort of internet connection and finding people that way. But what's your experience like with? I haven't been to many shows while I've been out in LA and stuff. So how was that? Like, were you doing performances yourself often, or what was the context there?
So like most of my show experience was with my last band. Only because literally, like, the first show that I planned for my solo career was on March 14th, and the whole world shut down on March 13th. So yeah, that show,
it's bad luck.
It was cursed. It was gone. So okay, what were we talking about?
So we're talking about how with your last band
and shows and stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah, I would say so. There was a scene, like a local scene. And what's actually really funny is that, like, my current boyfriend, I didn't...
At that time?
No, he's my boyfriend now.
Current boyfriend.
My current boyfriend now was, like, the main promoter for, like, local shows, as far as, like, there used to be a venue that all the, like, young people would go to, but it ended up closing down. And then there were, like, a lot of different houses, like, that everyone would play at. Just, like... Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of just like a weird group of people who were making a lot of music locally. But like in the last like 4 years, there was like a lot of shows, like maybe like even like once every month, or 2 in a month sometimes. And it would be like the same kind of like crowd. Does that make sense? It was like a big network of people that all knew about the local scene, and they would all go. Yeah. And I learned about it through my current boyfriend now, because at the time I had only like knew of him. I like knew he would throw shows and stuff, and I thought that was cool. And I like DM'd him, and I was like, I'm starting a band. Like I want to like play some shows. Like let me know if you can like help me out. And he literally never responded. He did not help me. He actually barred me from every single like show that he threw.
Okay.
And which was really weird. And so my band would end up throwing our own shows because we weren't really invited to play with the other bands too often, only because like we went to a different school. I went to a private school, and I understand like people don't want to hang out with private school kids. I don't want to hang out with private school kids. So why would other people want to?
Sure.
But yeah, it was like, I feel like we were like a little bit of outcasts, and we didn't really know how to like blend in with all those people. And it took like a little bit of a while for us to like make our way.
What I'm sure you called him out on that at some point. What's the reasoning for?
Oh, for why he never helped me out?
Yeah. How does that work?
He told me he hated me. I asked him, I was like, why did you never help me? Like, why? And he was like, I hated you. And I was like, why? And he was like, because you were just like white, like Christian, like privileged. Like that's just like what I thought you were. And like also like a lot of his friends were talking like mad shit about me.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So, but like.
Then you won him over at some point.
I did, because I met him I really talked to him at a show he threw like in October of 2019. And I like went up to him, and we actually got hired at the same job, so that was part of why we like actually started having to become friends.
He was forced to interact with you.
Yeah, he was forced to interact with me, and I just every opportunity I had, I would like talk to him, because I knew he didn't like me, and when I know somebody like doesn't like me, but I like respect them so much and I want them to like me, like I will not stop until they like me.
You've got that stubbornness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what? As far as so you were able to eventually get shows going with that band that you guys pretty much put on yourself.
Yeah, we started it by putting on ourselves. Well, we put shows on for ourselves, like by ourselves, like throughout. But I would say we started mainly by throwing them ourselves, because we genuinely didn't have anyone else. Yeah.
And then when did that band, was there like an end to that band? Like, what's the time frame of
that band?
That one?
I would say it was from like 2016 to August of 2019. Yeah, we broke up in August of 2019. Yeah, so it was a good like 2-3 years. Well, we didn't perform for the first year, so yeah, good 2 years. And from like throwing shows ourselves, we actually ended up playing at that venue I told you, the one that closed. And then we ended up playing different shows, different houses, different venues, clubs in Burbank. Like, I don't know, just like random stuff.
Yeah.
The Smell, which is terrible.
The Smell.
It literally smells. I like didn't think it literally smelled. Like, I thought it was just called The Smell, like for fun. But it smells so bad there.
Okay, I've never been.
You've never been? It's a classic. You should go.
Yeah.
It's a classic LA spot.
Cool. And then prior to that band, I guess like I was curious, but the timeline didn't work out where the band kind of broke up as you were meeting your new boyfriend who could have
helped us.
Could potentially help. So
we talked about that irony, me and my boyfriend. We were like,
well, maybe
this is so weird.
Meant to be, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But all right, so that was the second band you were a part of? Is that?
That was the only band I was a part of.
That was the only band. Okay. All right.
And then I guess if you consider what I'm doing now a band, but it's just myself, so solo career now. But yeah, I was in one band, Kosher Green, and we lasted that long. And then
you're transitioning into who you are now.
Who I am now.
So, what are you doing now?
Right now, I am similar to like last year around this time. I'm kind of trying to spread awareness that I am working on a new song. I released a little like teaser on my Instagram the other day, and the song's finished. I just have to get it finally mixed and mastered, and then it's gonna be put out for release, and then it takes like a month for it to be released. And then, so during that time, while we're waiting for that, we're working on a music video in hopes that they can come out around the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the song is called Seashell.
Seashell.
Get excited.
Sweet. All right, so you mentioned the process there really quickly. I was trying to keep up. So it's completed.
Yeah, the song's done, but it just has to be mixed and mastered.
Mixed and mastered, and then once that's done, it's another month till it can get released.
Yeah, because once you give it to the distributor, it takes like a month for them to
And then it's a single.
Yeah.
So, all right, are you okay?
Yeah, it's gonna be another single. Hopefully this will be, just the start of a project coming out later in 2021.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then this one was this one written and?
This one was written actually at the same time as Mon Tree.
Okay.
I wrote them like together. Like if you listen to the original songs like on my phone, Seashell, the one that's coming out, was also written on my phone, but only like a couple parts of it, and I ended up changing so much of it. But I wrote them around the same time, and they actually kind of have similar sounds if you listen to the original ones, which I think is interesting, and that's why I wanted to release it, because obviously people like country, so hopefully people.
So you say they sounded similar initially on your phone, but now they.
Now they're completely different.
Okay, cool.
But I feel like they're in the same vibe. Like they could be in the same drawer if you opened a drawer and they were in there.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you wanna give any hints or things as to what it's about or the inspiration?
Yeah, I feel like I can talk about it because I already talked about what Mon Cherie is about, and they were written around the same time. So similarly, it's not about the same thing. It's not about like how you feel like right when you meet someone. It's more like once you've been with someone for a little and you already like them, but then you like when you get like weak at the knees. Have you ever felt that?
All the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's like kind of about like that feeling when you just like are so infatuated with someone that like you can't even like stand up. Like you need to be carried. Like you need to be whisked away.
So it's kind of like like stage 2 of the relationship.
Yeah, if Mon Cherie is like the beginning, like the first feelings, like that one's kind of like more like cheeky, like not too like serious. It's kind of like more like hee hee, like playing around. And then this one's more like, you know, like, oh, I actually like have deep feelings for this person.
Yeah, this feeling's lasting and
I see this going somewhere. Like I have dreams.
You're settling in and it feels good. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely.
That sounds like another happy song.
Oh yeah, always happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
We can either talk about the producing music world and navigating that, or we can
go from star signs back to it.
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, let's jump to star signs. You seem excited.
Yeah, I like astrology. It's fun.
Okay. So what? I guess before you guess my stuff, I'm curious as to how much. So when you like astrology, how much do you utilize it on your day to day, and how much stock do you put into?
I'm not a horoscope person. I'm not someone who like will read my horoscope and be like, oh my god, like no, like I don't care. My horoscope can say I'm gonna die today, and like I'm like that's bullshit. But it's more about like I consider astrology sort of like a math because it is like an exact, precise measurement of the stars when you're born, and I just like observing how it affects people. It's almost like a research study within my own brain as far as like how many connections can I make, how much can this make sense, but it's not like a worldview, you know. I don't know if astrology is it. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or if it's like, you know, like I know like the theories of what makes it true. Like I know like people's different interpretations of why they think astrology is true. But personally, I just haven't been moved to the point where I am like, astrology is like my religion. Like, no, I still believe in God and I believe in astrology, but I believe in them like separately.
So astrology is kind of like a fun side.
Yeah, it's like a hobby. It's like a girly hobby that I have.
Okay. All right. So you want to guess, you said you want to...
Guess your star sign?
Guess my star sign.
Okay. Should I get like 3 guesses? That seems fair.
Sure.
3 guesses.
Sure.
Okay. Scorpio.
Why?
Why? You're wearing all black. The long hair. Those are my only 2 reasons why.
Okay, long hair is new for me this year, if that helps.
I like it. I like the bun.
And all black is new for me today.
Oh.
No, it's not. You are wrong.
I'm wrong. Okay.
Try to.
Capricorn?
Nope. Why?
Why? You seem organized. Or like, if not organized, like determined. And Capricorns have like, you know, they like, they're not like as organized as like Virgo, but they're like, they are an earth sign and they're more like, I feel like I get earth sign energy from you.
Okay.
And so that's why I said Capricorn. And I feel like you're not a Virgo, but maybe you are. And that's my last guess, Virgo.
Yeah.
Yes! I knew it. No, I didn't. I was so wrong the first 2 times. But my 3rd guess.
Yeah, I'm Virgo. It's true.
My best friend's a Virgo. She's really happy behind the camera right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's I do feel like organization is a high priority for me.
Right? I got that from you.
It's huge.
I got
that.
I
was really upset when I forgot my lens today.
Oh, it's okay. Lucas is here. Lucas saved us.
Yeah, it all works out. Yeah. Okay, so all right. So now that you've got that first layer of
you're a Virgo.
Yeah.
So
what's next?
Now I need to do your chart to find out your other stuff.
All right. Do we have your phone? Looking for your phone.
Just give me one of yours. I'll give it back later.
We're getting a phone from someone off camera here.
Phone delivery.
Just deleting
pronto.
A bunch of history.
Won't look through it. I won't. I'm literally just going to Astro Cafe. Astro Cafe is my favorite website because it gives you everything. Gives you the aspects. It gives you, just like everything. Yeah. I'm not really good at reading like the chart where it has all the lines in it. I just like looking at the signs and stuff. Okay. So Eddie, right?
Yeah.
And your birthday is?
My birthday, September 19th. Is that, yeah?
Yep. And what year?
Oh no, we're getting.
I won't pay attention. I promise. I just need to put it in. You can put it in.
All right. Everybody's gonna steal my information.
Never ask a lady her age or her weight.
It's a good rule. Yeah. What else do I have to put in? Birth
time, and location.
All right. So if you want to explain the science here.
The science. Well, okay.
Of date, location, and how all that works from your understanding.
It has to be like exact. Like, okay, so the thing about what most people misconceive about astrology is they take it for face value as far as like only sun sign astrology, you know, like I'm a Virgo, so this, I'm a blah blah blah, so this. But really, your sun sign only makes up like 10% of your personality because it only represents the ego. And the rest of the signs represent like other parts of you. And so it's always important to know the other signs that could be in your chart because that will help you understand yourself better. I guess the reason the science behind it is just understanding yourself better. I feel like it's like, it does sort of like, once you learn like a little thing about yourself like that, it's like, oh, like it's insightful. It's nice to know.
All right, so we have my information plugged in. You're scrolling through.
I'm scrolling through. I see that your Mercury is in Libra, and off camera, I guess that you are a Libra. So I think that makes sense. So what each of the planets represent is like I said, a different part of your personality. So if the sun is the ego, the moon is more like emotions and like drives as far as like, oh, I'm hungry now, or like things like that. Not necessarily like emotions like love, but more like day-to-day, like your needs, your emotional drives on a day-to-day basis. Mercury represents like your communication and your intellect. Venus represents like love and relationships, and then Mars is kind of like not only like your work ethic, but also kind of it's like your aggression too. And then Jupiter is like your ability to grow, and then the other planets, even though they are important, they only move like generationally, so they're called generational planets. Saturn moves more often than other planets, but Uranus and all the way down, because every like 10 years or 8 years they move. So they're said to affect like groups of people instead of like, and they like the Gen Z generation is like Aquarius, Sagittarius down here. And so that's why a lot of them are like really artsy, or they like creating things with their hands, or they're outspoken, and they're very like, they have a lot of ideas and opinions, because both Sagittarius and Aquarius are like the most opinionated, so that's why I feel like the most recent generation is like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but you have mostly like Capricorn and stuff for your outer planets, so that would be like more of that like organization, like getting your life together kind of focuses, rather than like straight up activism. Not that you can still be, you know, be active and show activism through like being reliable and dependable and like things like that. You know, does that make sense?
That feels like it's exactly me.
Yeah.
It feels right. It feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. Because you have mad earth sign energy, bro.
Thank you.
Are you stubborn?
No, 100% stubborn, yeah.
You have a Taurus moon, so that's why.
Okay.
Taurus moons are the most stubborn. They're the most stubborn.
I am the most stubborn.
Yeah, but you seem like easy to get along with, and that's the thing about Taurus moons is like they're stubborn about certain things that have to do with like, you know, their beliefs or their personal like worth, ideas, things like that. But as far as just like having a conversation with someone, they're really easygoing. Like they're not going to just fight somebody. They're not confrontational.
They're not seeking. Yeah.
No, but they do defend themselves. Yeah. Like they will defend themselves. And your rising is Sagittarius, which is the same as mine, actually. And so Sagittarius risings are actually like, there's a lot of them in the celebrity world because they're very like, they're more extroverted. They tend to be more extroverted, not necessarily like in personality, but in action. They tend to like do things that involve entertaining people. Like, you know, you have this podcast, and for me, I do music and things like that. Sagittarius risings usually like being, like making people laugh, or like making people react to them in different ways. And so yeah, that's interesting that we have the same rising sign. Let's see. Oh wow, your Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all in your 10th house, which means that like your work is very important to your identity. Very important.
It's all my identity.
It is your identity, exactly. That's what this says, girl.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right. So what was that again?
Your sun sign, your Mercury sign, and your Mars sign. So that's how you communicate, your ego, and the things you do, your actions, all are work. Like they're based around work. Does that make sense? They're based around your career. Not necessarily like work, like literally like tedious work, but your career and where you see it going. That's kind of where you put not only most of your intellectual and mental power, but also parts of your identity and most of your action. That's what that says.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. I'm okay. Yeah. Sorry, you're still looking through it.
Yeah, there's different things.
Yeah.
You have a lot of cardinal signs, which is really good. That means you're like more of a go-getter. Cardinals tend to be leaders. They tend to be the ones getting things started, while fixed signs like carry out the work, and then mutable signs are good at finishing things, but they're also good at like being put in any situation and adapting. They're like the most adaptable. And so you have a mix of mostly cardinal, but also some fixed signs. So that's like, not only do you know how to start something, but you know how to work on it too. But I see that finishing things could be a little bit hard because you don't have much of that mutable energy. You finish things?
I finish everything.
That's good. That's good.
But so at least that's how I feel about the stuff. Like, I commit, and then I follow through, and then I put it out into the world, and I don't really have any issue with that. But, yeah.
Well, because you have that. What's most important is the creation of the idea and the follow through. That's what creates the thing that you're making. Though it's more of like, do you have trouble like being adaptable and like being put in a random situation and just like not having any of your regular resources, but just trying to like figure it out? Or is that
do you have a
like an example?
Yeah, an example.
Like
of
if
that?
you were like dropped in Africa, and they were like, we need you to film lions, but you don't have a camera, and you just have to like figure it out. Like, what would that give you, an instant anxiety attack, or would you be like, cool, new thing for me to do?
I feel like I'm not a fan of those situations.
Yeah, because it's like there's so much that you can't control.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't like that either. That would freak me out.
Yeah,
but some people are like, they're all about that.
Yeah, because I guess the thing that I was kind of thinking is, like, when I work on set, let's say, I'm often working with a group of people that I've never worked with before, I've never met before, but I'm still being plopped in a situation that I know. Yeah, I know the guidelines, I know what we're doing. It's just different people. Yeah. And just being able to get along with everybody and work smoothly is important, but the scenario where it's not a film set, it kind of changes.
Well, like where everything's out of your control.
It takes away, like, it takes away what I am comfortable with and what I do know. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's see what else they have here in the stars. I see that your sun is trine with your moon, so that would just mean that your ego is comfortable with your like wants and needs. People who have like a bad relationship between their sun and moon tend to be really distant from their needs and not know what they want, while people who have a good relationship between their sun and their moon know what they want. Your sun is in conjunction to your Mars, which is similar to that sun and moon thing where you are comfortable with what you do. You're comfortable with the things that you carry out, and they fit your ego and like who you are. Like it doesn't like. But your sun is square Uranus, which that's like we're opposite. Because for me, my sun is trine with Uranus. So what that basically means, like, you are more of a rule follower, while I am more of a rule breaker. Which is, I know I'm a rule breaker. I don't know if you're a rule follower though.
I feel like I probably am more so
than a rule breaker.
Trying to excel within the guidelines that are set versus breaking out of it. Yeah, which that is like way more dependable. Like, you know, you're way less likely to get arrested than I am. But it makes sense in terms of even, let's say, our creative paths, where I feel like and I guess you can speak to this as far as the producing and stuff. Yeah. When you're trying to get yourself out there as a solo artist. Yeah. it feels like it's probably almost more likely to go via the breaking versus the
so like thinking outside of the box
versus
more.
putting something out that everybody's heard a billion times before. So that makes sense.
It definitely is. Like, for what you do, it's good to have kind of like, you do technical things, and it's important to know the details. While for me, I struggle with those kind of things. Like, I'm really only good with like abstract creative ideas and things like that. I'm not really good with like tangible, like I wasn't really good in school and stuff, but I did understand everything that I was learning. I just wasn't good at like actually doing the work, like actually physically doing my homework, actually physically going to class, like things like that. But no, I think it does reflect on our creative styles, as far as like, I feel like I'm always forced to think outside the box. And I feel like even if I do try to do things in a perfect way, like by the book, I still end up not where I want, because I only feel like I get what, like that, like, you know, that really good stuff if I'm like really just like scrambling and desperate and thinking outside of the box. That's why I feel like I'm a procrastinator and things like that, because I feel like that last day before the thing is due, I just have so much like creative energy.
You have a hard time summoning it ahead of time on your own. Like you need that.
It's sporadic.
You need that push.
It comes and goes. Yeah, that's definitely how my like inspiration is in general, or just like my energy in work.
How do you balance that with setting these timelines for your endeavors? How does procrastination play into?
How does procrastination play?
I'm going to produce my own thing.
Well, I think if it was just me, like I'm someone who I'm organized when I have people to hold me accountable. But when it's just me, like I'm not good at holding myself accountable. I'm not very intrinsically motivated. I mean, I'm intrinsically motivated to make my art, but I'm not intrinsically motivated to stay organized. That's more of like extrinsic motivations, as far as like my mom telling me to clean my room, or my mom telling me to check my emails, like literally, which I know is like messy, but I do like, something that I do is like, okay, I know I have to do something. I know I have a timeline. I know I need this done by this day. I will talk to my best friend and I will be like, make sure I do this. Like, just like bug me, text me, make sure I'm doing it. And it helps me. Like, it's what gets me to do it, because otherwise I would just like be by myself, like on my phone, like, what do I have to do today? I don't think I have to do anything. Like, I'm just gonna chill.
So, and that works for you for now.
That works for now, yeah. And I do like keep planners and schedules and stuff. Like, I have to do that kind of stuff, because I do miss appointments if I don't. Like, I can't just keep it all in my head. Yeah. But I would say it's been really hard producing because of my kind of disorganized way of doing things, because I recently got Ableton, which is like music producing software, but it's like nicer. It's like, you know, and I remember opening it for the first time and just being like instant anxiety, looking at all of these different like things I could do on this software, like not knowing anything. And I like literally taught myself this year how to produce, basically, with my most recent song. I obviously wrote it, and then I had some help with the instrumentation, but then my producer actually gave up on it, the song. So I had to finish it myself, which I had no pride. Like, I didn't have any of the tools to do that. I literally had to download software just to do that. And I did. It's what I ended up doing, and it took me like a couple months I did the vocals myself. I like mixed it a little bit. I added like a bunch of I just added stuff. And I was really proud of myself, because I went from like making stuff on my phone, and I was even like, when I was doing that, I was really confused about like, I just did not know a thing about producing, to where I am now, where it's like I'm still learning. Like, I'm still an amateur. No, for sure. But I'm definitely a lot more confident in like, I feel like I could like make a song on my computer now. Yeah, I think that's okay. Like, I feel like it's a very empowering thing is being able to, if you needed to get it done yourself, is a great position to be in. Yeah. It's like I had no choice. Yeah. So how, okay. Like,
you said the song was the manager or the producer.
The producer, like, he helped with the instrumentation, so he kind of helped me change the sound a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we even restructured it. But, like, midway through, he was like, this is taking too long. Like, he has a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah. And, like, at first I was kind of really, like, offended. But then I realized, like, you know, this is my thing. I got to do this. I can't, like, expect somebody else to help me. Like, I'm going to help myself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what's like spurred the whole.
Yeah, it was more of a time commitment issue than not believing in you.
Yeah, and he had put a lot of work into it, but what ended up happening was I had to restructure the whole thing. Like, I ended up not liking where it went. Mm-hmm. Working with him. So I like went back to like earlier versions of the songs and like just worked on it and made it what it is now. But even after it left his and he gave it to me, it sounded completely different than what it does now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she had a lot of different forms. She had a lot of revisions. Definitely the song that I've had the most revisions with. Mm-hmm. I've rewritten like the verses so many times. Yeah, it was just stressful.
So how does that work? How does that go? How do you know if it's the writing? How do you know if it's the sound? Like how does that kind of ebb and flow?
Like, how did I know I needed to fix it, or how did I?
Yeah, like I guess. Okay, like I could assume, like when I'm watching one of my edits of a short film, and I'm like, something's not working here. Yeah. And I have to think about, all right, is it because I don't have the final sound mix done? Is it because it's not colored yet? Is it because the pacing is off? Is it because I don't like the performance? Like, there's a lot of elements that go into why I need to make a tweak, but it's kind of hard to discern what's wrong with it and what I can actually do to fix it. So
how did I figure that out?
And I guess like your thing is, it's so, especially if you're producing it yourself, I feel like it's just so wide open to where you can fix anything because you
There's
created
so many
everything.
Things. Yeah, no, that was like a huge anxiety of it. Just like sitting there with all of it being like, what do I even do? Like, but no, I'm someone who's like, I will listen to a song on the radio or I will watch a movie. And like, if something stands out to me as just like wrong, like I didn't like that, I can pinpoint exactly what it was and why I didn't like it. I'm very good at discerning, like especially with music, because I am an avid music listener. I would say that's a good start for anyone who wants to get into music, is just like listen to music all day, and it really does help you get more of an understanding of how music works, especially if you're like an audio learner, like you learn by listening to things, which I'm not really. I'm more of like a visual person, so that's why producing is a little bit easier. Like for me, if I listen to the song,
you'll miss stuff.
I'm like, I don't even know what I didn't like. But when I'm looking at it, when I can like replay the same part over and over again, and I can hear what I don't like. And so that is something I've learned that I love about production, is it is a lot easier to pinpoint. You can isolate things. It's easier to fix stuff than, I would say, like with a painting. If you mess it up, it's like, this just looks wrong. How do I fix it? It just looks wrong. Versus like a song, it's all these different parts, and you just have to make sure each part is good, and then that they blend well together. But yeah, it definitely was a learning process. There was a learning curve. I did fail a lot, and there was a lot of versions of the song that just sounded bad. And I kept listening to it, and I would just cry, because I was like, I'm spending so much time on this, and it's so bad. But eventually I was just like, no, like, just fucking do it. Just fucking fix it. And I did. It just took forever. It literally took like a whole year to fix, but I did. I fixed it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
No, it's tough to push through those moments, especially, I guess like that's what I think about with creatives a lot, and creating, is there's a tendency to, I guess, especially when you listen to music a lot and that's what you're doing, and you hear final products all day, and then your thing, like I could equate it to film, where early filmmakers jump in and make a thing expecting it to be like a Spielberg final product, where it's like, why does this not look like a movie? And it's like, well, it's a technical thing, and you gotta kind of learn and grow and make the mistakes, and eventually maybe you'll get there. Yeah. So,
but it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
It is a process of learning and failing and trying again and not giving up, because like, I could have given up on it at any point. but I was like, I already put so much of my heart into it. And like I do think of my art as like my children. I would say that's like the closest thing I can like say that my relationship with the things I create is. It's like sometimes I'm disappointed with them, but I never fully like hate them. Like I can never really hate what I create because I'm just like, I created it, and if I hate what I create, then I hate myself, and I don't want to hate myself. So it is kind of like, it turns into like a mental spin of like, once I start hating my art, then I start doubting myself too. And it's like, I wish I could like separate them. I wish I could like, even if my art is going terribly and I'm making terrible things, that I could still feel confident. But I just have such this like mentality of, I have to love what I make. I have to think it's good. I don't care if anyone thinks it's good, but I do have to think it's good.
No, 100%. Yeah. Making it, I guess, okay, who do you make your music for is the question. Is it for you?
I would say it is for me more than anybody, but it is for me in the way that I wanted to create something that I feel like isn't there yet, that I feel like is missing, or that I feel like I could do originally and make work, because there's like almost like a niche and a need for it, because I haven't found it. Because I am someone who like, I will dig and dig and dig for like underground music that I love. I just like want to find like really weird songs, and I just want to like them. And so I wanted to add to that, as far as like, I wanted to give people something that they have to look for, that's a little bit underground, but once they find it, that hopefully they're like, wow, this is a treat, like this is a surprise, like I didn't think it would be like this. You know?
Yeah.
Because people like kind of put me in a box of like, you're just like an indie like ukulele. Like none of my songs even have me playing a ukulele. But I don't know. I feel like I do get put into that box, but I do want to create stuff that's like bigger than that, you know, bigger than just like a genre name. I don't think I create for a genre. I'm trying to create like a new genre, you know?
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
I guess like I was thinking about when I don't know we can go different directions here, but I don't have too big of a relationship with music, but I am a fan of creatives and those hustling to get stuff out and like making, like I'm a big fan of that. When people ask me about, I'll talk about my favorite band.
Wait, what was your favorite band?
I'm wearing the shirt.
Linkin Park.
I'm a huge fan of Linkin Park.
Okay.
Because you kind of talked about the genre bending and kind of pushing
out of
like
a
the
specific
box stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about this particular band growing up, was they started out as what most people think of them as, like the hard rock kind of like new metal feel, and then they made like 7 albums or something, and through the way they're always challenging me with like they were challenging themselves creatively to make stuff that fulfilled them, because they had already done the thing
that they wanted.
And now it's like, what's coming next? And me as a fan listening, being challenged by an artist to be like, wait, this isn't the same sound they made last time. There's almost an initial like, I don't like it. But being that I trusted the individuals and the creatives involved, I kind of followed along with it and learned to kind of like, oh, that's actually really cool. And then them continuing to evolve kind of helped me evolve as a listener. So I feel like that's, when you were speaking, I was like, oh, that sounds like a great place, because it's like what my favorite people do.
No, I think the best people are versatile. I think the best artists are versatile and can do more than one thing.
Yeah, it kind of upsets me when like there were bands that I was listening to back when I was first getting introduced to Linkin Park, and I'll listen to their newer stuff. I'm like, you sound exactly the same 15 years later. This is weird. How are you still fulfilled? And like that kind of stuff. But so I don't know.
Yeah, how they keep it going, how they keep the creativeness
going. How much have you thought about the long game or with that? Not to stress you out.
I'm like, oh, the future. No, I definitely have thought about it, as far as like, and I don't see myself as the next like Ariana Grande. You know, I don't see myself as like this huge pop star that's just gonna take over the world. But what I do want to create is like a community and a platform that is welcoming to everybody, that anybody can come into and enjoy and feel, like I said, positivity, things like that. But not only that, a platform where I can share any form of art, whether it be music, whether it be some design that I designed, whether it be a movie that I'm making or a music video, you know, like I want an avenue to display all my different artistic interests and things like that. And also like my own personal philosophies. And I want to be able to create a platform in which people can share that with me and in which I can share that with people and they can enjoy it. Because I feel like that would make me feel fulfilled. No matter how big that platform is, like I don't care if I'm not selling out a stadium. Like as long as the people who are there are like down for me and are like down for what I'm making, like, and I'm able to be successful enough to carry on what I'm doing, like even like as a nonprofit business, like I don't care if I'm like going to be rich, but I just want to be able to keep on what I'm doing. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. I would say that's my philosophy on it. Because I think like being fame thirsty or money thirsty is always going to be an issue for people.
Yeah, that'll have you making decisions that aren't really true to you because you're creating for something else that
it's like intangible, and it's also like can go away at any second. You know, I could get famous in a day, but then I could get canceled, or I could get a bunch of money in a day and then lose all of it. Or like, you know, I don't know. There's just like life's crazy. I don't want to depend on some specific path that I'm gonna go down because it's probably not gonna go that way. You know, kind of.
Yeah, being flexible, being open.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Obviously.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are we missing what can else? What was there anything? I'm asking off camera folk.
You could talk about, I don't know, playing clarinet, being in band in high school. You talked about Kosher Green, but you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't talk about. I forgot.
We all met in orchestra.
Yeah, I met my old band, like in my orchestra.
All right, so these are we talking about the beginnings? Is this okay? You talked about, hey, let's make a band. You're in my band now.
Yeah.
Is that the beginning that we're talking?
Yeah, around that time, because I was in orchestra playing clarinet, and all the people that I had asked, hey, do you want to be in a band, were people that I knew play instruments because I was in orchestra with them. It wasn't just like random people, you know. And so I would say we all had an interest in music already. It wasn't just like, you know, spur of the moment. But I didn't think that me learning clarinet and like learning how to read music would ever help me, but it definitely did. And it's definitely the reason where I am now. And I do owe my band teachers a lot, even though they would yell at me because I was really bad. Girl, I was bad at the clarinet. I did not practice. I never brought my clarinet home. And people were like, Tori, like, why don't you practice?
And then when was this? This was high school, you said? Did you guys, okay, because I went to school, I'm from Reno. They forced us, I think, in 6th grade to pick an instrument.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that was...
No, I chose to join orchestra. I had like a choice between orchestra.
Was there anything prior to high school that you were...
Oh, that I had exposed to music?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, I think in 5th grade they made you play like the recorder or something.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's like a one-day event.
No, it was like they had like recorder classes at my school. Okay. Like you had to learn songs and get like belts and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that was the first instrument I learned. And then I already talked about like my parents already like being really interested in music.
Yeah, I guess I was curious about them too. Were they still going out and doing performances? Or
not like when I was a kid. When my sister was a kid, yes.
You have an older sister.
I have an older sister. Yeah, she's like 31 now. She's really old now. But yeah, 30 years ago, my parents were doing that, but now they're not. So
you didn't? Okay, because I was curious about some of the drive to do it yourself. I thought maybe that you had the experience of watching them. And their element, but
I definitely have, because they play music, like they do it for fun around the house. Like they'll have their friends come over and they'll play music, like really bad blues and rock music. But
sure,
it's good. I enjoy watching. Yeah, I sometimes sing with them. We sing Journey songs.
That's cute.
It's kind of embarrassing.
That's awesome. Okay, all right. So all right, so that was your high school experience with the clarinet.
Oh yeah.
And I guess my only experience, just to get it out there, was my 6th grade experience where I guess I had to choose between strings and band is what would you call it, or I guess chorus was an
singing.
option too. And I'm like, I'm not a singer. Like I don't want to. I want to hide. So I think I was playing at that time a Nintendo 64 game that inspired me to pick an instrument, and it was like Donkey Kong 64. They have like each character had their own instrument that they could use, and it was kind of dumb.
That's so cute.
But I picked the trombone, and
yeah.
it was one of those weird trombone dudes.
Well, I kind of wanted to play a brass. Like they like brass instruments seem cool. Woodwinds kind of suck. I kind of wish I played the trumpet or something. Or trombone's cool too.
Trumpet's the cooler one.
Trumpet is pretty cool, yeah.
Trombone is just like, it was me and this other weird dude. Like, it was just the weird guys playing trombone.
Weird trombone guys.
And I'm like,
no, it's okay. At least you didn't go to become a weird trombone guy.
Yeah.
You don't still carry your trombone around.
Yeah, so I did the 1 year, and I did not enjoy the experience. Like, I hate the whole spit thing and, like, the whole cleaning
the spit valve. That's disgusting. People just empty it on the floor.
It's just a weird thing.
It's nasty. Yeah, the woodwinds didn't have a spit valve, but they would get, like, wet inside. And then, like, you would have to, like, suck on this wooden thing.
Right.
It was gross. I didn't like it. But it was fun. And I definitely, like, I think about all the people I was in orchestra with, and sometimes I'm like, I should call them for this song. Like, I want, like, this instrument here. Like, yeah, so I think it was nice to, like, meet a bunch of instrumentalists, because if I need a trumpet, like, I know a couple trumpet players. So, yeah, it's definitely nice. It also helped me meet different, like, I've, like, sang backup vocals for different people, and it helped me meet them, and helped me meet just, like, random music people who want to collaborate.
Yeah.
And stuff, so, yeah, that's nice.
Cool. and then we talked about it a little bit, but I was curious to maybe get some inspirations on new music. But like, I don't spend a lot of time exploring. I used to do it way like earlier in my music searching career.
Yeah.
But like finding those underground artists and just listening to music all day, I don't do that as much anymore. So do you have? What excites you, I guess, like right now or before? What are your go-tos?
Some new artists that I like.
What am I
listening to?
Sure.
I have a playlist right now that is kind of different from what I've been listening to mostly this year. This year I've been listening to like a lot of like oldies and like 80s music, a lot of 80s music. But I've transitioned from that to what I'm listening to now, which is more like just like current stuff that's been coming out now. And there's this new artist that I'm really obsessed with. Have you seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the tall guy, Steve?
Yeah.
He has a music career, and it's his songs are so good.
Okay, I believe it.
Like, I let Finn Wolfhard or whatever, he does music too, but his is like weird, like garage indie, like not good. Steve from Stranger Things, his like name on Spotify is DJO. It's just like Dejo. I don't know how to pronounce it. But they're just so good. They're like dreamy. They're like danceable. There's like new sounds that I've never heard before. Like they just really like spark my interest. And then other than that, I've been listening to a band called The Loving, and they kind of do like mostly like acoustic stuff. And then they like their songs are about like philosophy and stuff. They're really deep. My favorite song from them is like If I Am Only My Thoughts, and it's just about like existing only in your brain. And it's just like really like they talk about stuff like when I'm high, I'm just like, this is so good. But yeah, no, I guess that those two, Dejo and
DJO.
The Loving, are mostly what
those are your top two right now.
Yeah, because they're very dreamy. They take me to like different worlds.
Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of music, dreamy like music. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think about the three singles that you dropped earlier. How would you describe those?
I would say Mon Cherie is the only like dreamy one. Saturday is more like just like, I don't know. It's like, I guess like rock, but that's like gross. I don't want to call it that.
I don't feel like it's rock.
Or like it's like pop. It's just pop.
Okay.
I said rock because it has a guitar and like live drums.
Yeah.
And the other two don't. But yeah, that one's more like.
But I guess it's kind of like the cool thing is like it's hard to describe. Yeah. So that's kind of.
I usually put like a lot of tags on them, like alternative, indie. Like I just put everything.
Just
like, someone will find this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then Burn, I would say, is just like pop. That's just like pop shit. I wanted to release it and just have it be like danceable pop shit, but no one wants to dance to it. It's fine. Stream Burn, please.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. You want to jump to some random topics?
Yeah, I'm super down. I want to look at the rest of your chart too.
The rest of my chart? Oh, okay. Yeah, do that. See what we're missing.
Yeah.
So I'm just pulling up my. All right. I'll see what you find there really quick. But I was kind of curious, being that I guess we're jumping back to astrology really quick. How often do those readings kind of go south for you, where you're like describing it to somebody and you're all stoked about, oh, you got this, and then you look at them and they're like, that's not me at all?
No, yeah, that happens, especially like if they give you a wrong birth time just to mess with you. That's happened to me.
Well, that's cheating though.
That is cheating, I know. And then they watch you like read it and they're like, yeah, no, that's not right because it's the wrong time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I would say part of it is like I do palm reading and different things like that too. Part of it is kind of a intuition about people. I do feel like I have an intuition about people. I feel like I can go into a room with people, look someone in the eyes, and like describe them pretty well. Like describe them as much as I can, and like it's usually pretty accurate. And so with astrology, sometimes I'll say things that aren't even like, if I'm like trying to get someone, not with you, for example, because with you, your chart was pretty straightforward and easy to read, but some people will have like really chaotic charts and I don't know what to say. I'm like, I don't even know what any of this means, because especially like earlier this year, like I've been doing more research on astrology, but before then I was kind of like an amateur. I still am an amateur, I'm still learning, but
sure.
Sometimes I'll say things just that I know is true about the person, even if, and I'll like relate it to something in astrology, but it's not really me getting it from the astrology. It's me knowing something about them that they didn't tell me, but it's just because I'm intuitive.
You can feel it, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a classic like psychic trick too.
Yeah.
No, it works. It works.
I don't consider myself a psychic, but one time someone asked me if I was a psychic, and it was because they were walking behind me and I opened the door for them. And I didn't turn around and look at them, I just knew they were behind me. But it was because I heard them.
Yeah, it's
and
not
like
hard.
I'm pretty sure I saw them in the reflection in the door or something. Like I don't know. They were like, "Are you a psychic?" Though. And I was like, "No, I just opened the door."
I'm just being polite here. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So random topic change. This is a hard transition to. Do you want to talk about? I have right here game nights and friendships in LA.
Game nights.
I'm a fan of game nights, but hosting them in because I'm about to hit my 2-year mark of living in LA, and I don't think I've hosted one game night because it's impossible to do.
Yeah, I've hosted maybe 2.
So you do game nights too?
I do. I have done a game night, but it was
a game night.
I think it was maybe 2, because I used to have like a more like cohesive friend group.
Yeah, more reliable
I would, like,
chunk.
Invite to things, but now it's like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like now it's like I feel weird inviting people over unless it's for something work related, because people are so isolated right now, and I feel bad like people thinking they're exposed by just seeing me. I don't want people to think that they're being unsafe by like going to my game nights.
Oh, you're talking about like now?
Yeah, if I were to throw
no, for sure that's not a good idea. But in the before times.
No, yeah, in the before times, I would say, yeah, most of my friends were from high school, and then when I started getting distant from all those people in high school, I've struggled to make more friends. So
you grew up here? What, you've lived in the LA area forever?
Life. Yeah, I was born here. My first house was like in Reseda, which is like a really shitty area, and now I live here. But yeah, I just have like a regular Valley experience. But I had gone to private schools my whole life. I would say that's like a little bit different than most people around here. And so I think because of that, I met less people. You know, I have less of people that I could reach out to, because all the people I know are like Christian school kids.
And you can't hang out with them? Or?
No, I can hang out with them, but some of them, some of them are toxic. Some of them are very toxic. But some of them are very nice and are still my friends to this day. But, hypocritical Christians, you know how they can be.
Sure.
Sure?
No,
Have you been to Catholic Church?
Tell me more. Yeah, I have.
Well, Christians can be the worst kinds of people because they have moral superiority, or they think they have moral superiority over people. But that's the least Christian thing to have, is moral superiority.
Yeah, I've had... Oh, shucks. Yeah. No, it reminds me of one particular friend that I had that I was friends with since, like, elementary school, and then he kind of went... I'll call it hardcore Christian in college.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah, it's just like people put their identity.
Yeah. No, I remember there was a particular event when I had a game night.
Okay.
And I think he told me he didn't want to go anymore because I had impure people at my party or something like that. Like that kind of thing where it was kind of I was like, so when you mentioned that, that's kind of what I think about. I was like, oh, I didn't know people could actually feel that way.
I've definitely experienced that. I've been like the impure person that like a Christian person doesn't want to hang out with. Even though it's like we have the same beliefs. I'm just more open about my flaws than you are. And that's what I think a lot of Christians get wrong, is they're so private about what they do wrong that they make it seem like they don't do anything wrong, and then they always judge others for doing things wrong.
This is the heavy religious portion of the podcast.
But no, it's not heavy religious because I'm not telling people to believe anything. I'm not like that. But I just think that people could be hypocrites. That's all.
No, 100%. But as far as growing up in the LA area, I'm curious about the experience of friendships and maintaining connection. I guess like in today's current time, 2020, it's different. It's different because it's not encouraged in general for health safety reasons. But outside of that, the classic thought is it's difficult to have friends.
Yeah.
Is it easier that? Or it almost sounds like maybe not, but that you're already here and you have a more solid foundation of people that you know.
I think I wouldn't want to be raised anywhere else. Like, I do enjoy being in this area and I want to live here. And I am blessed at all like the connections I've made, because there are a lot of things I couldn't have done without like people that I'd met or like things like that.
Sure.
But I would say the thing about friendships in LA is that people really only get together for big things, like I said, like shows, parties, things like that. Other than that, the only times I would really ever like game night or like hang out with people is like with my really close friends, like otherwise people in LA are pretty distant. They feel like I feel awkward inviting someone into my space intimately after first meeting them. But the only reason I feel that way is because I know they probably do. Does that make sense?
That they probably feel
like uncomfortable, like
being accepted.
Not being accepted, but being so close so fast. Like there's something about people who live in LA that there's like this aloofness and like kind of like, oh, like I might not answer your messages for like, a couple months and then maybe I will. Just sort of like this hard to schedule time with people. Like people are so flaky around here. Like I don't know. It's like kind of this air of like like being aloof and being out of reach. I feel like a lot of people share that, and I think I share that too. As far as like, I'm more of like someone who reaches out. Like I'm someone who plans about things. I'm someone who invites people to things, and so I find that I don't get invited to that many things. I feel like I'm always the one inviting people to things. And so like that kind of, it's discouraging. I resonate with that 100%. Yeah. I feel exactly the same. I mean, that's kind of how it was even outside of LA for me. Like growing up in Reno, I felt that if I wanted to be at a game night, I had to host a game night. Yeah, because you basically do. Yeah. Like people don't do like cute things anymore.
Yeah, so, but at the same time, it is empowering to be able to do it and
give people a good time, and that they do enjoy, like they enjoy the friendship more. I think when you put like actual effort into hanging out. Because like most LA hangouts are like sit around a TV and smoke weed. Like no, sometimes I want to go on a hike. Sometimes I want to go on a raft or go surfing or like set up like this and like make a movie project on it and like create a little room with lights and make it really pretty in here for us all to enjoy. Like things like that are things that I like doing. But there's not that many down people in LA who are just like, I mean, they're down to come to your things, you know, and like eat your food, but they're not down to contribute as far as like, hey, let's plan the next one together. Or like, hey, let's have it at my house next time. You know, like there's not enough people like that.
Well, I also feel like the flakiness is kind of an issue too. Like even when you find somebody that is down to do something,
it's so hard.
Getting it settled in and getting it scheduled is near impossible too.
Yeah, literally.
So I guess the purpose of the conversation for that is I'm thinking about other artists that maybe don't live in LA. They're like, because a lot of people's dreams is moving out here, being creative with people, creating stuff, and this is kind of like a hub to be seen and heard. Yeah. Again, not currently.
Not right now.
Because that's one of the issues. Like none of the venues are open, so you can't do anything. But when it does open up, any thoughts or advice on, I don't know if you have any, on somebody moving out here wanting to get started? Or...
I would say now's not the time.
Well,
but I mean, even like after, I'm saying like even after this is over, I wouldn't move to LA because I feel like it's going to be a little bit crazy before it gets normal again. Like I feel like if once we're given the opportunity to, you know, people can see each other again without masks or whatever, I feel like people are going to go a little crazy. As far as, like, it'll be a little chaotic. There will be so much happening. There will be so many shows. But, like, almost too many that, like, you can't go to all of them, things like that. And then after that, I think it'll slow down and be consistent where there will be niches again for artists. Because the thing about artists right now is a lot of them are taking this time and utilizing it. And the artists who aren't, like, for a while, I, like, was hard on myself because I was like, damn, like, I have all this time, like, I should be doing something. And, like, I am doing something, but I still constantly am feeling like I'm not doing enough. Yeah. And I feel like so many artists have capitalized on this time so well that they, like, haven't even left much room for, like anything else. Because there's just so much new music coming out. There's so many new movies. There's, like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of is like a renaissance. You know, after the plague, there was the renaissance. I feel like, you know, we had COVID, and now people are, like, excited to make art again. Yeah. But it is kind of intimidating. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are there a lot of movies coming out?
Not like literal like movies coming out, but there's a lot of people making movies, and there's a lot of people writing movies, and there's a lot of people having ideas that are different because of the current situation. Not necessarily that they're able to make them right now because it's really hard, but they're like going in the process to get ready to. And so that's why, for that reason, I feel like if someone was going to move into LA, right, I feel like there's going to be so much stuff already planned to happen that where they even going to go in. Yeah, exactly. Like, people are planning now, you know, for when this is over. So once this is over, there's not going to be much room for other people, I feel like.
And you're talking specifically musicians, or is this
everybody,
kind of
like,
in general?
Yeah, I feel like everybody. I mean, I feel like there might be a need for, like, a lot of, like, actors and stuff, probably. Because if they're going to start making the movies.
I mean, that's the benefit of being on the crew side is I'm excited for the moment when too many productions are happening and I'll have an excess of job opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess, so would the advice be if you are, like, this is the time to prep, this is the time to make stuff on your own, kind of the way you're doing it now.
Yeah, like how to make a portfolio.
Because you can technically do it wherever you are.
Yeah.
It's just about the next phases of
yeah, and I would say if you're going to move out to LA, like, be ready to compete. That's all.
100%.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it's a competition out here. It's cutthroat.
All right, we got a little bit of time left.
What should we do? You should guess my star sign.
I don't even know what star signs are. I can't guess it.
We already talked about the video.
Give a teaser about the plot.
Girl, I don't want to talk about the plot yet. It's too soon.
The plot?
The plot of the music video.
The plot.
I want people to not know the plot until they watch it. That's like the whole point.
Cool. Yeah, it's all good.
But it is going to be beach, Tumblr, aesthetic vibes.
beach
vibes.
Tumblr aesthetic vibes. I'll try to go. We just got to eat up like 15 more minutes here. And I'm on this website for random questions to ask.
We should sing a song together.
I don't want to sing a song. Don't make me do it.
Why not? We can sing it badly together just to like make the podcast go out. Like, what if we just sang a song?
We can maybe try that.
I'll sing a Linkin Park song with you.
Well, we still have time. We're not at the end of the podcast yet. But
I feel like there's a 15-minute Linkin Park song
We'll put a pin. All right, so question.
Yes.
This is too easy of a question, but I'll ask it anyway. What makes you happiest?
What makes me happiest? Seeing other people happy, I would say. Or like making other people smile. Makes me happy. Yeah. Definitely. Making people laugh and stuff. I like that. I like being funny. Makes me happy. Makes me feel important.
Okay. Good answer. I guess I was gonna. So, you enjoy seeing the effect you have on other people, and that kind of. So because that's actually like an issue, not an issue. I released a short film, let's say yesterday, and I had a whole day of kind of this weird feeling of I put something out, and the process is done, and there's like this post-project depression that happens. It's like, okay, it's out there.
Now what?
And now I'm sad. And some people are watching it, and it's like, sure, like I don't really expect any views or whatever. It's like you put the thing out, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then some people tell you, they reach out and they like it, and it's like, oh, sweet, awesome job. And I'm like, it doesn't really fulfill. There's a lack of fulfillment there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a similar case.
Yeah, I'd feel like it's similar. I mean, it's different on the internet because you can't see people.
Yeah, that's the rough part too.
Yeah, I'd say that makes it less fulfilling. But like when I would perform and people would come up to me,
you get that immediate reaction.
That was a lot. Like sometimes I'd just like cry because people would be so nice.
That's awesome.
They'd just be so nice to me, and I'm like, why are you being so nice? Like I know I didn't do that good.
It's like you're lying.
Literally though.
Yeah, no, I feel that too. It's like that's too much. What's the weirdest? This is probably asking you is dangerous, but what's the weirdest thought you've ever had that comes to mind?
I have a lot of weird thoughts.
It doesn't have to be the weirdest. What's a weird thought?
What's a weird thought that I have? Let me think. I really think ants are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Like, I think they are doing a lot of stuff underground that we can't see.
That's nice and weird. I like it.
Yeah. I love ants. I one time sat on an anthill, and I think an ant crawled up my butthole to my brain and is now controlling me.
That's a nice other weird thought. I doubt that that's a possibility. But
I don't know. I just have had. You would think after sitting on an anthill, I would hate ants, but I like them.
Have you ever had a bad experience with ants?
Yeah, I sat on an anthill.
Well, I mean, that doesn't. You said
they bit me. They went everywhere.
Oh, okay.
They were all up in me.
All right. I had a friend talk to me about ants recently, actually. And he was talking about how awesome their underground wars are. Like, there's whole networks, and they're constantly at war.
Literally, there's like tribes.
You can see the battle plans, and every ant you watch is doing some sort of
like little thing.
Like
they're all so cute. I love them. I ate ants once, accidentally. I ate a waffle full of ants because I left it in my room on this chair, actually.
You left a waffle in the room. It was covered with ants.
And I ate it. But I didn't know it was covered with ants until I ate it.
Did you have your eyes closed?
No, I was just like, nom, 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 I'm so hungry. It was me and my boyfriend, actually. He ate it too. And then we looked at each other's teeth, and we both had ants in our teeth and on our tongues. And it tasted like pheromones.
Okay.
Ants have specific smells. Have you ever smelled like an ant after you kill it in your fingers?
No.
It has like a specific smell. I'm sorry, you asked for something weird and I gave it to you.
No, I like it. I like the weirdness. I could
are.
just tell it's getting weird. But I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, here. What's your opinion on fate? That's a big one.
Fate?
How in control are we?
How in control are we of our lives? I mean, who knows? But as a Christian, well, I consider myself a Christian spiritually, but not like religiously. Like I don't consider myself a religious person. Does that make sense? But I do spiritually believe with what the Christians believe. Mm-hmm. And according to the Bible, both fate and free will exist. And so that's kind of like a huge debate amongst like philosophy, theologists, things like that, is what is the significance of fate and free will? Which one? How can both exist at the same time? Yeah. And I think they can both exist at the same time because it's not that God predestines what's going to happen to us. It's not like he chooses. We choose because we have free will, but he knows. He always knows what's going to happen. And I feel like it's that all-knowingness that makes things seem fated because it's like he knows how it's going to end up, so technically that is your fate, but you are choosing and you are exercising your free will to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's different planes of consciousness.
Yeah, it's like two separate things. It's like both time and sound happening at the same time. I don't know. You know, it's like they're two different things that can exist at the same time, and they both have different effects, I feel like. So I do believe in fate, but I don't believe that my life is fated to the point of where, like, I have no control over what I do. Mm-hmm. Like, I just have to let it happen. Like, I'm not going to just, like, wait around for something to happen. Like, I have to do it myself.
Right.
And I think every human has to do that for themselves, you know?
Yeah. It's a good answer. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart route to go. Because, yeah, if you wait, I mean, waiting around is a choice, and something will happen.
Yeah, something will happen.
But maybe not. Probably
but a lot
not.
of people wait around for their futures to come to them, you know? Like, it'll happen, it's destined, like, I'm manifesting it. But part of manifesting is action as well, and, like, mental action towards something. Mm-hmm. Not just, like, wanting it. Like, yes, you want it, but you also have to be ready for it in every single way. You have to be ready to receive it. So. Okay,
next is an easy question.
What's up?
What food do you crave more than any other?
More than any other? Cornbread.
Cornbread?
Cornbread.
Just by itself?
With honey butter.
Okay.
I eat chicken nuggets the most, but I crave cornbread always. Okay, chicken nuggets and cornbread. With honey mustard sauce. And honey butter. I like honey sauces. Honey flavored sauces.
Sounds good. And chips.
Oh, yeah.
Is what you asked
Toasty
for
cheeses.
During our little break.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what else we got here. What makes you... I was going to say anxious, but that's too easy.
Everything. Life. Waking up. Drinking coffee.
What do you want to do? What's your... This is another weird one, but if not blue, what color would you want the sky to be?
Wow.
During the daytime,
During the daytime,
specifically.
I think, like, cream, like white, almost, like how it is now. Like foggy, I like that.
Kind of like overcast?
Overcast. I do enjoy a good overcast. But also pink would be cute. And super girly.
Pink would be cool.
Might fuck with pink. But then it would look like a sunset all the time, and like you couldn't get any like regular pictures. That's why I would like it if it was just like clear. Or like white. What if we could just like see into space? Like what if there was no sky?
Well, that's called nighttime, right?
My brain just fucking exploded. T, but in LA it's different. I feel like it's not the same. It's just like here. Blackness, yeah. You can't see stars.
It's true. I guess, okay. I don't know, hopefully this can take us to the end. But pet peeves.
Pet peeves?
Like little ones. Like, I guess, like, let's say, I don't know, we can talk about relationship pet peeves, friendship pet peeves, humans in public pet peeves.
Oh, yeah. Let's start on one. Which one do you want to start with? We can do relationship pet peeves first, because it's the first one you said. Let me think. Relationship pet peeves, I hate people who are like, oh, so I'm just the worst. You know, like you're fighting with someone and they're like you tell them something they did wrong and they're like, yeah, well, I'm just the worst, so you hate me, so like, yeah. They like make it like a self-pitying thing where it's like the reason they did something wrong is because they're such a terrible person and like you shouldn't even have them in their life. Have them in your life.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like you're putting a title on yourself and it's making you go lower. Like if you think that you aren't going to be a good partner, then most likely you aren't going to be, because you have to believe that you're a good partner and you have to know that you're a healthy partner and you have to like, you know, put conscious effort towards those things. And so in relationships, I don't like people who are just like, well, like I can't do relationships like that. They're just like settle with like in any kind of regard, either with themselves or with another person. Yeah, that's my relationship.
That's an annoying pet peeve. I mean, that's an annoying thing for sure. Is somebody giving up on themselves. And it's kind of like a cop out in an argument too. It's like, no, we gotta solve this, and it's just like. Yeah, they take the blame and put themselves down. It's kind of sad.
It is sad.
The opposite of that was going to be my pet peeve that I was somebody running away from an argument. Like there's moments, the classic like car argument, where I imagine, what's the scenario, like who's in control? Okay, so if the person driving, I feel like, okay, somebody gets out of the car, and then you start arguing through the window, and then the person just drives off.
Or like closes the window,
and doesn't want to have the talk.
Yeah, won't listen. Yeah.
And then they get upset when you don't chase them down and try to fight for them.
Ooh, that's annoying.
That's good stuff. It's not coming from personal experience or anything, but I hear it happens.
I've definitely done that.
You've been the person to drive off, and then
I've literally ran away from an argument before, but it was because it was a really toxic argument. It wasn't like, you know, like, oh, you did something. It wasn't someone telling me that I did something wrong, because those kind of things I usually just sit and take because they're really emotionally exhausting. But that kind of fight, I was running away because it was just like verbal and loud and like scary, and like I just like couldn't deal with it, and I like ran through thorns, and it was terrible. But yeah, I ran away because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. It was just too much. It was too much. I was mentally not dealing with it well.
Yeah, I feel like running through thorns is a little dramatic.
It is dramatic, but I was being chased, so yeah. I think that's like a different scenario.
Yeah, it's a different scenario. But...
Okay, friendship pet peeves. Okay, let me think.
You got a good one?
Yeah, I got one. Friends who like will help you and do a lot of things for you.
That is annoying.
No, and that part's great. But then one of two things will happen. Either they get upset that they helped you because they did too much, or they get like they want to help like too much. Does that make sense? Like they either meddle or they get mad for how much they have to help.
How much they have to help.
Yes.
And then you feel, what would be the solution to that?
I would say, like, it's not really with my close friends. I feel like it's really just with like other friendships, as far as like they don't like doing a lot of like the friendship effort. They want like you to be a friend to them, and they don't like delivering that other side. But at the same time, then they get mad when you aren't, like, it's like, you know, that whole like one-sided relationship sort of thing. I feel like I do have a lot of one-sided friendships, as far as like I picked friends with people who like don't want to put a lot of effort towards me, and I feel like I always have to ask them for help, but then they like either flake or like don't want to. You know, it's like I don't know. People are just hard like to read, and like they want friendship and they want connection, but not at the expense of their own personal comfort, you know? And I would say, like, yeah, that's my relationship pet peeve, is people who aren't willing to go through it in the friendship. Like, I've had a lot of friendships with people who just give up, you know? They just, like, yeah, this is, like, I don't want to be friends anymore. And it's just, like, annoying because it's, like, I'm a loyal person and I don't give up on my friendships. And I will always keep, like...
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my pet peeve, definitely. People who complain about having to be a good friend because they don't know how to be one.
Okay. I was going to say for mine is, like, I feel like it's a theme this year a little bit. It's, like, anxiety-based where everybody has, like, a certain amount of bandwidth that they can kind of operate at.
Yeah, like emotional.
And it's like, you know, I'm stressed, you're stressed. And then sometimes friends, once, let's say if you're a good listener, they'll use you as their outlet for like all their problems and their stress. And you're like, I'm being a good friend by listening to you. But when every time we talk, if it's the same kind of stuff over and over again.
And like you give them advice, they don't listen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now you're using me. And then that's when it feels like you're being used. It's like,
yeah, it's like, I'm not a therapist. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I have friends that will like call me at like 1 a.m. and be like, I have to talk to you. I have to talk to you now. I'm like, I'm asleep. And I'm the worst because I always pick up. I'm like, why did I pick up? And then I have to listen to them vent about something. But no, I enjoy being a listener because I feel like it would be unfair if I expected people to listen to me.
No, I'm sure it means a lot to listen. Yeah. It's just there is a tipping point on like, all right, we just talked yesterday.
You just told me this. Yeah.
And I'm stressed too. Can I talk to you about my stresses? Yeah. Oh, you can't handle it? Okay.
My mom had a friend like that for a while who like every day she'd just call her talking about her issues, and my mom would never get asked about what's going on with her life. And eventually they just like stopped seeing each other. Like she stopped calling and my mom stopped answering, and but it's sad. Some people don't know how to care about
So Friendships 101 is it's nice to ask other people what they're up to.
Yeah. No, just like, it's good to be, what's the word? Like, empathetic. Like, understand that your friends might be going through a lot. Because that's one thing. Like, even though I might be, butthurt over, like, losing a friendship, like, I feel like at the end of the day, I always understand, like, they have their own bullshit going on, And it's like, I have my own bullshit.
Yeah, and it's probably not meant to be anyway, because if they wanted to be your friend, like that's kind of one of my things that I think about, even as simple as the game night stuff, is if you want to show up, they'll show up, but you don't have to hassle somebody to be like, why didn't you make it? Why didn't you come? Like that's not the way to get somebody to show up to your party, and it's not a way to be a friend either. It's just like, if you want to be my friend, you'll be there. You'll be there.
They're always there. They're stuck with me.
Okay, now they're stuck. But they'll always want to be stuck. Okay, so I guess with that nice positive note, how about, we haven't plugged your socials or I don't know if you have a website or
I don't have a website.
Where you want to point people to check out your stuff.
My Instagram, which is @Torinator. I'm writing it out for the deaf.
It's for the video people.
Anyway, don't put that in. Okay, @Torinator, and then my Twitter is @Tor_. Oh, This Is Oliphant is my other Instagram. That's like my music Instagram. And then if you click on that link tree on either of my Instagrams, it'll take you to my music videos and different things like that. So go to my link tree.
Sweet. And where can people find, where can people expect, is that where they can expect to see
my Instagram definitely is going to be the forefronting.
That's where I'll find it.
Marketing thing,
Sweet.
Yeah, and that'll be coming up hopefully in the next few months. Soon.
Do you have, I guess, okay, this is being filmed, and what are we in, October?
Yeah.
So November to, so you're talking maybe early 2021?
Yeah, either early 2021 or late 2020, like really late 2020.
Okay, sweet. So stay posted. And thanks for chatting.
Oh yeah, should we sing a song?
And
I want to sing a song.
How about can I just listen to you sing a song?
No, I want to sing a song.
I don't want to sing a song.
I feel like it'd be funny. Yeah, let's sing the song. Like, what about just like a nursery rhyme song?
We should do Don't Dream It's Over.
They don't know the words. Okay, ready? Start
do you wanna come in and get on the mic?
Oh no. I don't hear my voice.
I'll sing it with you. Ready? 1, 2. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in and they come to build a wall between us. No, they won't win.
Great, thank you.